The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We are here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dub, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Defense. Alongside with me today, the hit squad, Coach Mike Dub, young RG Robert Garcia, the real AG Alex Givens, and the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. Gentlemen, what's happening?
I think there's some teams on the clock.
Oh, yes. Officially on the clock for sure. Starting with the Raiders at the number one pick and a number one pick of a new head coach. So we're going to get into all that, man. It's a good show today. It's a good time. We'll get into all that and more. But, let's do a quick vibe check around the room. Let's see how the brothers doing. Happy New Year to everybody out there watching. Watch us on live and watch it on replay. 2026 is in the building, and we going to get this thing off right. Coach Mike Dub, good brother, what's going on out there? How you feeling?
Doing good. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year to the listeners. We made it through another season, a great NFL season, gearing up for even better playoffs. I feel like this is one of the most wide open contests we've seen in a long time. So ready to get it started, thankful for another year. So what's going on, everybody?
Absolutely. Violator, good sir. What's going on out there? How you feeling in 2026?
I'm feeling great. Got no voice today, so excuse that. Very optimistic. We've kind of hit rock bottom as an organization, so I want to just be there when they finally hit that up curve and can finally have something to really be proud of. So looking forward to next season, but this one has been a doozy.
Indeed. Were you screaming to the top of your lungs when they fired Pete Carroll?
I smile a bit, but that's another part.
Fair enough. All right. Young RG Robert Garcia, good sir. How you feeling out there? What's going on in your world?
Oh, man. Here we go, Coach. Once again, approaching that time of the year, huh?
Yeah.
The nerves really start to kick in around this time, huh?
That's the fact. That meme is oh, shit, here we go again.
Here we go again. Yep.
Yeah.
But, apart from that, like, everybody echoing, hope everybody had a safe, happy new year. And, happy to be with this group, man. Love this group of guys here. Everybody knows some ball. And it's always a good time when we're all on the mic.
Indeed. The real AG, Alex Givens, good sir. How you feeling out there?
Ready to forget 2025, on to 2026,
No!
But I will
Now you
say,
can't forget 25. That's when your son was born.
well, yeah, from an NFL perspective.
Right.
This is just my fan cap on right now, not my family cap.
Don't
Fan
ever
cap, not the fan
lie
cap.
to you, say that though. I mean, she doesn't know context.
Yeah. Well, she might have just heard me say it. I don't know.
Yeah, see,
Find out when it's done.
Right.
Yes,
Indeed. Indeed. We don't want to see any projectiles flying through your green screen back there.
that's right. Yeah.
Indeed. Captain Jack Rackham, good sir. How you feeling in 2026?
3 wins on Sunday. 3 wins. Finally beat those despicable Chiefs at Allegiant, getting the number 1 pick in the draft even before we beat those despicable Chiefs. And then late last night or early yesterday morning, or actually I guess it was early Monday.
Black Monday.
Na.
You did call it.
Hey, Pete Sons, goodbye.
There you go.
Also, hey, shout out Cap and Violator. Saw you guys both on the broadcast. So little
Nice.
TV time.
Yeah.
I was like Leo in that movie. Hey, I know them.
I know those guys.
Yeah.
I like
There
it.
he is.
Great.
There he is. Indeed. Okay. Rev Guru, good sir. Off the fresh vacation. How you feeling, good sir? What's going on for you in 2026?
No, I'm drying out my raincoat. It's been pretty rainy in Southern California. And, I don't want to rain on, speaking of rain, I don't want to rain on Cap's parade, but you didn't win that. The Chiefs let you win, but that's okay.
Thank you for the
Hey, it was the JV squad.
You didn't beat the Chiefs. They let you win.
So the Chiefs beat the
You know
JV
what?
squad.
And that is why referees and linesmen and all that other crap, everybody in the zebra, they're despicable because a win is a win is a win. You play to win the game, and you play the players that are there. You play the team. Now I hear no bullshit about some guys not being there. Okay, I mean, I was there, and how to win when you have what? 8 field goals and a safety. I think that was the only first time in the history of the NFL. It was exciting. It was down to the end, and being there. Don't ever take that from me because that was like the greatest game I've seen, other than the first win against the Ravens in Monday or the fumble the Patriots. That game ranked up. That's top 3 for me in Allegiant, and I will never forget it.
Okay. Well, I hope you're happy.
Really, hey, plus that 2 really great looking gals next to me, plus Hollywood's wife, so 3 technically.
Okay. I guess what our vice is. I guess what our vice is. Okay, fair enough.
I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Okay.
I got
right.
pictures.
Huh?
I got pictures. No, not those type of pictures, Garcia.
Damn.
No.
Not even 10 minutes in.
I mean, come on. That was a layup. That was like, you laid that up and then you tackled the only defender in the area of me. Like, come on. What was I supposed to do?
I'm just saying,
Right.
I know how y'all think. Man, you guys got some dirty ass minds.
I didn't know we had an OnlyFans account. I never got invited to that. I guess I understand why now.
Well, hey, let's put it this way. I did just call up my Sam's Club credit card for some charges to an OF. I'm like, no. That was not mine. That was
Didn't
not
like what
mine.
you saw, huh?
You sure?
I've used that
No.
one before too.
Great.
How'd this get here?
I'm serious, man. No, negative. No OF on Sam's.
Oh man, no bouncebetty.com for you. I get it. I understand.
No.
We're starting off the year hot.
Yeah.
Man.
You can't make this up.
First show of 2026, man. Can't hold back.
Oh, you can't hold back. I'm gonna turn around.
Now, hold on.
There was no full moon in the forecast tonight.
Right.
Please.
It's cloudy tonight. No full moon.
I reserve the right to bring it out at a later time.
You know what? You can bring it out when the
The
Raiders win the
reservations
Super Bowl.
heard. Yeah.
That is the Raiders win the Super Bowl, man. You could whip.
We could have a whole episode.
Oh,
You
okay.
knew
I'm not
it.
even gonna say
I'll take 3-0 RG.
I'm going to veto that. On I can't allow that on this network.
Well, we can hope for an eclipse.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Yeah. Let's get going here. Oh man, we are in I guess put up a shut land right now.
Week
We're
19.
in week 19, wild card weekend, super wild card weekend, as the NFL has coined it here recently. We got a lot of things to talk about in regards to that. What the playoffs are looking like. We're going to talk about some coaching firings. Obviously, we're going to get to that.
Somebody get fired today?
Yeah,
Actually, yeah.
2 hours ago. Yes, yeah. It's hot. It's hot.
I was watching Fox News, so they don't tell you.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
It's kind of a no-name ref. I wouldn't worry about it.
It wasn't
Hey, I
important.
want to say Maduro got fired. If we're going to bring that up.
Yeah, I'm just.
Wow. Okay.
Way to keep us in the loop, Cap.
There you go.
Hey, you're the one that was watching Fox News. I'm just saying you must have missed the headlines there.
Speaking of headlines, let's talk about our first segment of the day.
Great segue.
Let's get into our first topic. Since we got Ref Guru here, let's get into our segment called Ask the Ref. So we got some things to talk about in regards to refereeing today. Some things are weighing on my heart in regards to what has been going on. We've got probably some built-up questions because ref's been off for a couple of weeks. But I got some things that I want to discuss at the top of the show here in regards to officiating and the ability to have what some people call lopsided officiating. We saw some things in the Panthers and Buccaneers game. Now, by numbers, they can argue that it wasn't egregious one side or the other, but not only was it in my mind lopsided, but it was also way more detrimental calls on one side of the ball.
Yeah.
So, ref, from your perspective, in your experience, your illustrious experience as an NFL ref, how do you interpret, games? I'm sure you were never part of these type of games, but games
never
seemed, it would just really go on one way. Like one team seemed to be getting a lot of flags, a lot of calls, and other team just seemed to be, getting the same level of, I guess you can say, fairness. And on top of that, the idea of how egregious certain calls are, how detrimental they are to the game, because we saw in that Buccaneers game where the calls that were made on one side were completely detrimental to the Panthers, and the other calls for the Buccaneers weren't necessarily the, deal breakers in a sense. So, what is your perspective on the, I guess you can say, the lack of parity when it comes down to play call, when it comes down to refereeing in certain games?
Well, I think that in general, there's a conversation about that when it's week 7. It's a different conversation really when it's week 18. There's a lot going through those officials' heads, excuse me, in week 18 that's not going through their heads necessarily in maybe week 7. Part of that is, am I going to make the playoffs? Am I going to have a good game? Not good game. My point with that is that some of these games actually, they affect your ability on the field because of the magnitude or lack thereof of the game. So the larger point here, I think, is that, to your question, is that there's a human element here that impacts these games that I think only officials would ever know and probably wouldn't admit to. But, when you get into some of these games and there's a call or two, it gets into your head. Very much like a player throws an early interception. You want him to go on the sidelines, have a quick chat, forget about it, and move on. They go out in the next series or a series after, throws another one. You get 2 or 3 interceptions. You're like, man, this game is trash, right? The officials have the same problem when they get out there and a game starts to get away from them. Things like that happen in the Carolina game. The crew had a chance to fix some of the issues that they had there. The big one was Sarah Thomas coming off there and saying, hey, we got a backwards pass. We need to resolve that and give the Panthers some options here. And the referee ignored or seemed to ignore Sarah Thomas overruling her peer across the field who said, we don't have a backwards pass. And that caused a lot of chaos because I think it was a backwards pass, and the Panthers should have had some options that they didn't get. And so I think you get a situation where the game gets a little bit out of control. The end of the season's in your head. It's just a mix mash of craziness. and you get, if you will, these crap storms in these games, and then the next thing you know, the game's over, and you're like, man, we do not know what happened out there. And I blame the white hat, really the referee, for not getting things straight, not getting things together. I think it's a lack of concentration, a lack of focus, a lack of training. This was a game where the division really mattered. But I think the other thing that's bugging me, guys, and I think that's the quiet part out loud, I got to go back when Baltimore beat Green Bay. You knew the Steelers were going to lose in Cleveland because the NFL wanted the drama with Baltimore, Pittsburgh for the division title. I knew going into Sunday that the Panthers were not going to win that game. Why? Because they wanted the Saints Falcons to mean something. Who else would have been paying attention to Saints Falcons if the Panthers had beaten Tampa Bay? And I don't think the officials necessarily threw the game, but man, you really got to wonder when they blow stuff up like they did in Carolina, where you've got a division title on the line there. What's really going on? And I think that this is manifesting itself into some bad karma. And I think it's a bad optics. I think the NFL's got a problem here and they need to resolve it. But I got to tell you, really, I think the answer to your question is these games can get into your head. And when they get into your head as an official, it's really tough to come out of it. You're out because you don't get to go to the sideline and take a play off or a series off while the defense is out there. Right? You don't have somebody in your ear talking to you saying, hey, it's going to be okay. We'll get them next time. You got to go on to the next play and the next play and the next play. And all of a sudden, 4 or 5 plays later, you're thinking, oh, man, I still blew that call. You can't get it out of your head. And I'll tell you what, you can have some crazy stuff happen out there when you get 3 or 4 officials that get stuff into their head. And I think we saw some of that on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't even, draw up on that aspect of it. I was just curious about, was it a crew versus, a crew that doesn't happen to as often, or a crew that happens too often. Like, this particular, group of guys always have that, stigma around them and things of that nature. But it just could be a kicker's mentality where the kicker kind of gets a couple of misses in his head and he just starts to, getting, lose this confidence and things of that nature. So it could be one of those things. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the crews go out there saying that we're going to let Tampa Bay win the game. I really don't think we're at that point yet. We could be close. Yeah. But I'm not going to say publicly that we're out there actually scripting games per se. But, you would expect that with these crews that have worked together for 16 weeks, because they had a bye week, so they get 16, they get 17 games, or however many games are 17 minus 1. What's the math, Cap, on that? Anyway, every crew's going to get a bye week. So
joke on that.
Yeah, you've been together for 16 weeks. You should be doing better in week 18.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And just, I guess it's the in your face of it all, when the high stakes and games you expect, I would argue that in years past when these games were just, had this level of, I guess you say cachet, it was a lot of swallowing the whistle, kind of let the players play, let them work it out, let them earn it on the field kind of thing, unless it was, they wouldn't call things.
Here's the other nuance to this. I mean, was Brad Allen the referee for that?
Yes.
Whoever the white hat was, when Sarah Thomas came out and said, I think we have a backwards pass, I think the ruling on the field was not a backwards pass. The referee should have gotten together and figured it out. Sarah probably should have overruled her peer on the other side. Now, this is again where replay fails. Replay fails in its mission. Let's just get that right off the top. But if the referee kicks that up to replay for a review, that's a downgrade. So they can't even get it right on the field with replay, because if they get it wrong, or they thought they got it wrong and they need replay assist instead of replay, is the difference between replay saying we're gonna butt in here and fix this versus the referee going, hey, replay, we need some help. You call up from the field saying you need some help, that's gonna get you a red check mark. And so mistakes happen because they're afraid to, and they would, and there's all kinds of things there. They would rather just push it under the rug and hopefully nobody notices, blah blah blah. But the optics are bad. The mission statement of replay is bad. This thing is just messed up, and we're going to end up with a playoff game, a divisional round game, a conference championship, a Super Bowl with some of this nonsense. And when it finally gets to that level, then I think the dam will finally break. But they're going to get by with all this regular season nonsense until it really, really matters. And they're not fixing it. And eventually the Titanic's going to sink, and it'll be a bad day for officiating.
Okay.
We don't wish for that to happen.
No,
but
not at all.
It's inevitable at this point. You guys are seeing it now almost every week.
Yeah, it's a human thing for a lot of people to be reactive instead of proactive. They can be proactive and get this right before it gets to the point, but they don't do it.
They don't.
It's a reactive thing. You know, once they start to get negative press or money starts to change, things like that, that's when you move.
That part.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's when things change.
Yep.
So until we get to that point, unfortunately, we'll be talking about this. I guess it's good content for us. But yeah, it's definitely going to be some talking points here going forward. I just don't hope we see those type of things in the playoffs, because you would much rather see a very clean and competitive football game, especially when it's going to high stakes like that.
Well, you would, but then starting this week, we're going to have mixed crews. We don't it's going to be whoever graded best in their particular position. So these wideouts are going to go out there, and they'll be able to pick one or two folks that they want to go with them. They're going to take a line judge or an umpire or maybe both. They'll get a couple of folks from their crew because you got to have some continuity. But you're going to get a line judge on the other side or a field judge, back judge somewhere in there that haven't worked together. You know, do you have hands, feet, and all this nonsense? Man, I tell you what, one of those days. I don't know when it'll be, but one of those days. So we'll see.
Well, it's a good segue for that in particular case, because we're going to talk about I guess you can say officiating matchups coming up here in the wild card round. So here's the matchups for each game and what referee is going to be the white hat, I'm assuming, in this case.
Yep.
So, give me your overview on what these guys mean to you and how you think the game will be officiated.
Well, I'm really glad that Adrian Hill is available to come back this week. I think he a couple 3 weeks ago, he had an injury incident on the field that sidelined him for a couple weeks. So I'm glad that didn't kick him out of the running. So I think maybe they're bringing him back a little bit early, but they got to leave some room for the divisional round. But as far as wideouts go, this is a pretty good subset here. Clete Blakeman in the past has been one of my favorites. I haven't had a chance to look yet, but I want to see who the rest of his crew is going to be. But I think the rest of the folks are in pretty good shape. Your Super Bowl officiating crew, your referee and the rest of the crew will come from next week's divisional round. So these officials that are here this week are one and done all the way across the board. They're going to take the entire subset of officials and put folks out on the field in black jackets to do administrative stuff. So there's a lot of officials that technically are part of the playoff crews and not actually going to be out on the playing service. They'll be on the sidelines. They'll be talking with coaches. They'll be helping with replay, all that stuff. So you'll see officials that have officiated game during the season wearing a black jacket, probably on the sideline. But this group here is pretty good. I'm really anxious to see who the divisional round officials will be, because that will be your Super Bowl crew will come from there. And when you're ready, I'll give you my take on who I think the conference championship and Super Bowl official is going to be. Okay. You want to give that now or you want to wait? No, it's whenever you're ready. Okay, go ahead. Well, I think, Bill Vinovich is one of my favorites. I think he'll get a conference championship.
No Chippy.
That's Chippy. Right. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't send him to Chicago, to Chicago. Green Bay, Chicago, of course, is the divisional team. Could get a little chippy. Surprised they didn't send him there, but I think he and Land Clark will get the conference championship games, and I think Sean Hockley will be your Super Bowl official. So I would expect to see Sean Hockley in the divisional round next week. I would think we're probably also going to see Sean Smith, Alex Moore, Carl Sheffers, something along those lines. Okay. But Land Clark, I worked with Land Clark way back in the day. back when he was a back judge for the Mountain West Conference. Very, very, very good official. Worked his way up. He's deserving of a big time playoff spot, and I think he's going to get a conference championship this year. And I think really the only reason why Vinovich, he might get a divisional round game, I think, but either way, if he gets a divisional round, I don't think he's going to get the Super Bowl because he's had a couple of them already. But I could see probably Vinovich getting the conference championship. You really want you want your number 2, number 3 refs in the conference game, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you hear the nonsense about the 49ers fans complaining that Alan Eck was the referee for their game because he's from Pennsylvania and he's had I guess you could say numbers wise he's favored the Eagles allegedly.
I saw some chatter about that, and I don't know him well enough to really know the whole shebang. But if some or any part of that is true, that's a huge fail on the part of the NFL to put him in Philadelphia. There should not be what do they call it? Any
bias.
Yeah, there shouldn't. They're just at this point there shouldn't be any reason to send him to Philadelphia. He could have gone to New England, could have gone to Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, blah blah blah. No reason to send him to Philadelphia. And if any of that is true, they can talk all they want to about, oh well, he's not going to be biased. Bullshit. It's just you don't do that. You got to be above. You got to be above the optics, and if that's true, that's a huge fail, in my opinion, on their part for that.
Okay, well, we'll watch it with close eyes, see how it's officiated, because that'll be interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it'll be about the rest of the crew as well, because keep in mind that while the attention's always on the white hat, they don't often have a lot of calls, right? Because the quarterback is their primary, so they could have some roughing the passer, blah blah blah. They could have backside holding on the tackle on plays away from them. But what we want to watch for are flags from the rest of the crew and how Alan Eck handles that. They generally don't overrule, defensive pass interference, offensive pass interference. They don't know what happened downfield. Right. But this is one of those situations that could get ugly really fast. And if there's anything that goes the Eagles' way, that I don't like the optics for that at all.
Understood. Real quick, before I hand it over to the panel, would you have called that OPI on Tedero McMillan in the Panthers game?
Which game was that?
The Panthers Bucks game. They called OPI on Tedero McMillan?
I would not.
Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. Just checking. All right, panel. Do y'all got any questions for Ref? Anything that you want to get off your chest in regards to how you feels about officiating in this manner in the last week or so?
I just wanted to ask you. Go Cap.
I apologize. Was it jinx when you say things together?
I think we went at the same time there, so you're good.
Yeah. Jinx. I wanted to make sure give positives to the fact that the ref was saying that all of these guys that you see, Blakeman, Hill, Allen, Rolstadt, Torbett, and Eck, they're one and done. Okay, because that was the key figure. But you said that you were surprised that Chippy wasn't in that game between the Bears and the Packers, but then he would have been gone for the rest of the time. So that's probably one of the reasons why they were holding back on that.
Well, it could be, but I don't think he would have gotten a Super Bowl anyway. Not that he's not good enough, but he's done 2 or 3 already. And I think that they're going to give someone else a chance at this point. So the point being is that, but to your point was that, yes, I don't think Vinovich would have gotten a Super Bowl. So he could have been anywhere in the playoffs, including the divisional round. But I think they wanted to open up the divisional round so they could kind of see who to pick from. So the next best spots probably for Bill would have been wild card or the championship game. And I actually sort of thought that he might be in, wild card weekend. And just because you do a wild card weekend, that's not a downgrade, right? These officials have all made the playoffs. And so the officials we need to be worried about really are the ones that didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. So just because you're one and done, and for those that work the divisional round that don't make the Super Bowl, they're still one and done, right? Same as the championship game. So being one and done is not a bad thing. There's just, you're going to have 7 officials come out of the divisional round for the Super Bowl. But yes, that does mean that if you're And since we know that they're going to come out of the divisional round, we know that the wild card officials are one and done. But Bill could have gone anywhere. I thought probably he'd end up in Chicago. He's not. So I think that the next spot we'll probably see him would be for a conference championship game.
Okay.
Go ahead, Archie. Sorry, bud.
No, you're good. No worries. Real quick, ref. I just wanted to see like kind of what your rankings were for these 6 ref crews. Like, who, in your opinion, is probably the best of the bunch, and who would you not really enjoy so much?
That I like that question. All I have in front of me are the White Hats, and I didn't get a chance to study the whole crew because I think that's really a better encapsulated answer, because the White Hat by himself is just 1/7 of the whole crew. But I think as far as game managers go, I think the Patriots are in good shape with Ron Torbert. And I really feel like that the Steelers are in good shape with Rolstad. Not that Chicago, Carolina, Philadelphia don't have good crews. But to answer your question, you want me to rank those? I really like Torbert. I think Rolstad's good, and I think Adrian Hill's good. Allen, Blakeman, and Eck, they're all good. I had some issues with Brad Allen this year. Kind of surprised he made the playoffs, quite frankly. But we are where we are. Cleet Blakeman is a B+. Allen X a B+. Brad Allen's an A-. The other 3 are all A's.
I like it.
In terms of the White. So if you're a Charger fan going to New England, like I said, I want to take a look at the rest of the crew, but I feel pretty good about Ron Torbert being your referee.
Okay.
Love to hear it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions for ref around the room?
I'm just saying, wasn't Brad Allen the guy that ref the game between the Bucks and the Panthers?
Yes.
I believe so, and I believe his crew earlier in the year had some sort of faux pas.
Yeah.
I got ref's amnesia, but I think his crew earlier in the season had some sort of weird happening, so kind of just surprised that he made the playoffs. On the other hand, when you look at the White Hats as a whole, NFL's doesn't have a lot to work with. These guys are good, right? They're NFL officials, right? But we are where we are because of who we've got, and if you took the ugly,
and just remember,
if you took the ugly chicken prom, you still got to dance with her.
Okay.
And your boy Hussey has a game to go.
No, I don't think he's going to make it. I'll be really frustrated. I'll be really frustrated if he gets a divisional round. He's not going to Super Bowl. But I'm probably going to drink the rest of my in-stock alcohol if he gets a championship game.
I would say you better put some hemlock and that other stuff that's the green stuff that Johnny Depp had playing Sherlock Holmes, and it's the bad shit. The one that what
we're talking. It might be getting mad.
Absinthe.
Absinthe. Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, hemlock and absinthe on that one there, Ref.
Yes. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay.
If you've got John Hussey as your referee, man,
you're effed.
Yeah.
Yeah. To say the least. To say the least. Okay. All right.
They like him though, so who knows where he's going to show up.
I kept it clean. I
guess if Hussey doesn't show up in divisional round and he shows up in the conference championship game, then Lane Clark's probably going to be in the divisional round, which wouldn't rule him out for the Super Bowl. But I just think it's Sean Hockley's year. I thought he should have had it last year. I think it's probably between Hockley and Sean Smith, but I think Lane Clark, you're going to see him. You're going to see him on the move. I think he had playoff games last year, and they're not going to let that go for very much longer. But I think they have to get it. I think they have to get Hockley in there somewhere, and I think Super Bowl 60 is probably the best time to do it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Ref. So, are you going to take your leave here before we get into headlines, or are you going to?
I will. I'll give you my quick predictions.
Okay.
L.A. Rams, Chicago Bears, not because they're the better team, but because the Packers are beat up But that's going to be a good one.
It is.
Buffalo is going to show Jacksonville that Lawrence needs a haircut. I think the Eagles better be ready. I know that the 49ers are banged up on defense, but I'll tell you what, Saleh is not going to let the Eagles do whatever that they want to do.
That's
so the
true.
Eagles better buck it up. This game in New England, I don't rarely pick a game based on a coach. It's about players. But if New England's all liquored up because they think they're going to beat the Chargers, they forgot one thing, and that's John Harbaugh is the coach.
Jim.
Los Angeles
Jim.
Jim. Sorry, my bad.
John doesn't have a job right now.
That's
Right.
true. Yeah, he might for the weekend.
He might.
Yeah,
he probably
might.
will.
Jim may
won't play
Jim
long.
may call him and say, "How do you beat New England?"
That too. Yeah, that too.
And and the Steelers have had a decent run thanks to the kicker for the Ravens, but the Steelers have they're just running into a buzzsaw. That Houston team is
That
wired up.
Houston's
So
brutal.
Steelers
Yeah,
going to get
I
their
think-
ribbon and go on their way.
I think if Houston had gone to Baltimore, that would have been a much better game. But that's not where we are. So I like Houston in that one. Not because I don't like the Steelers necessarily. It's just they're not ready to play.
Yeah, I agree. Even with DK coming back, I still think they're gonna lose. Yep. Okay. All right.
But I got Packers fans in my house, so I got it. But I just think the Bears are dangerous right now. I just think the Packers are not healthy enough to win that game. I wish
agree.
they were, but among other things, they don't have Parsons. They need healthy Parsons. They need a healthy Jacobs. They need a healthy Jordan Love. Blah blah blah. And I don't know if they're just going to be able to pull it off. But
And I'm hearing like 30-mile-an-hour winds for the game, so that's another thing.
well, and it's not like these teams don't know each other. So but I just think the best players that the Packers could put out there maybe aren't going to be enough unless the Bears just can't score or turn the ball over. I just don't see them doing that.
Understood. Okay. Good stuff.
But good luck to everybody that still has a team in the playoffs, and go Chargers.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Love
go.
to hear it, ref.
Let's go. Yeah.
You got to
No,
say
I
it like
mean-
Arnold.
I mean,
Go
really,
Dodgers.
yeah, I would.
That's blasphemous. That is blasphemous, man. Seriously, blasphemous.
Okay, I understand that, but I just think nothing wrong with the Patriots. We got all this history, blah blah blah. But I just think the Patriots need a good butt kicking. I think they're just full of themselves right now, and they should be. What are they, 13-3? But I mean, this Charger team, they're not going away, and I think that the Patriots better be very very happy this game not in Los Angeles.
Indeed. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, Ref Guru.
We'll come back next week, see how we do.
Yes. We will see you next week, sir. We appreciate it as always.
Sounds good. Thanks for being here. You guys have a good one.
See you,
You
Red.
too.
Later, ref.
Yeah, brother.
All right, let's get into some
Take care.
headlines.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right. So yeah, we got some good things to talk about here. A lot of playoff buzz and things of that nature, but we got to get the bad news out the way first. So we had some coaching firings that happened over the past couple of days, and some people are looking for work. Some, a lot of vacancies. I think we got up to 7 now in regards to what the vacancies are. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go around the room, and I'm going to give each panel member a coach. And you tell me exactly how you feel about the firing. Was it justified or was it not? And what is your wish list for that team in regards to, who you think would be a great fit or good fit for them going forward? So starting off with Violator, let's talk about Pete Carroll. You tell me exactly how you feel about the firing. I kind of feel like I know how you feel, but tell me, do you feel like it's justified? Was he a lame duck coach? Was he, did he have a chance at all? Or, what was he over his skis? What was it? And who was on your wish list for new hires?
Oh, good one. Okay. Let me get my voice here. First of all, hats off to him for coming in, trying to rectify this organization. But from the beginning of preseason, I'm getting messages like there's some discord there, in the upper room. So as long as I've been watching this organization, I'm like, that ain't good. So it started to, rear its ugly head as the season went, and you see that dysfunctionality on the field, and it's not because there wasn't enough talent on the field. They just weren't performing as a unit, and that was bugging me a lot. But aside with the favoritism that came, and all kind of rumors are coming out now, it was just time for them to make a change, and it hurts that they had to do this 3 consecutive years. I think it's utterly ridiculous. But damn it, as a fan, get it right. I don't care how many times, get it right for once, so we can get some sustainability, and then maybe you can get some functionality, and shit rolls downhill. So get the shit upstairs fixed, man. That's what I'm looking for as a fan. As far as a coach, I'm hoping it's an offensive-minded coach. That way you don't have a head coach losing his OC to go get a head coaching job every couple of years. So bring in an offensive-minded coach that can call his own plays, and let's go, and let the general manager have the voice in the room, even though TB12 is whispering all the time.
Okay. So Brian Daboll or Kevin Stefanski would be on your short list of guys. I
would take Daboll in a heartbeat. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Can I interject real quick?
Well, you have your own coach, so
I know. Just an addendum. I like everything that Wayne said, but the thing about Daboll, I'm not sure if Daboll is going to be getting a head coaching job this cycle because of some of the what he did in New York. I think that Daboll might be a OC for somebody, which is why I wouldn't mind Brian Flores being the Raiders head coach with Daboll as his OC. That's the only interjection I had.
I'm not mad at that at all either. I'm not mad at that at all. Okay.
I didn't say Minner. I didn't say Minner.
You both did not say pay John Harbaugh right now.
Right.
That's the layup. I wasn't even going there. That was the layup.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Dub, you're up next. Let's talk about Raheem Morris in Atlanta. Do you feel like his firing was justified? And who's on your short list regarding who you think should fill that void in Atlanta going forward in 2026?
Yeah, I felt like it was. I felt like it could have went either way. Definitely was siding on the side of trying something different. He did change my mind going down the stretch of the season. They won some pretty good games. If I were with the Falcons, I'm always one of the people that, err on the side of giving coaches, a long leash, just because I know sometimes it just may take a while to get your culture established, take a while to get everything factored in. And it really did feel like towards the end of the stretch, the guys were continuing to play for him. And that's a big thing is, do you still have people that are willing to play for you? It seemed that way in Atlanta for Raheem Morris. But unfortunately, they just had a lot of ugly losses and a lot of bad showings with a really talented roster. So the same aspect of the guys playing well down the end of the stretch, it was you kind of could make the argument that look at this roster, man, they could have beat anybody in the NFL. It just took too long to get going. So I think we mentioned it before on here. Arthur Blank probably wants to see something happen more immediately with that team.
Yeah.
The window for winning is so small, and when you have a guy like Robinson, who's about to enter the prime of his career. You got those young defensive stars young defensive guys that are on the rise, and there's just a lot of talent and a lot that could happen there. Clearly they didn't want to waste another year and go in the wrong direction. So I understand the firing. I could have been, I could have seen the argument made either way, but I do understand the move. As for who they're looking to go next, I think they should definitely look for a defensive-minded guy. They have the talent on offense. It seems like they can get things rolling on that end. You would think, of course, they got to get that quarterback situation figured out. But looking at that young core, that defense, we talked about a little bit off air, but the back end, the safety connection, And then, they got a nice corner in Terrell. They got those 2 edge rushers. I think they led the league, or they were definitely in the top of the league as far as getting after the quarterback. So that's a defense that could be molded, and they could definitely shape that into a team that, is obviously run-centered on the offense, get the defense going on or get that things going on the defensive side of the ball. You look at the Rams defensive coordinator. I think his name is Chris Schuler, of course, the grandson of Don Schuler. That might be a nice fit. Jeff Haley from Green Bay is another guy. So of course they have to put them through the ringer and see how they fit with their schemes and things like that. But I definitely think a defensive minded person to kind of establish their identity going forward. Listen, that NFC South is up for grabs, and to my opinion, I think that's one of the better jobs. I know we're talking about coaches, but I think that the GM probably shouldn't have been let go. We just talked about that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. So clearly, kudos to the GM there. I'm not sure. I guess, obviously what probably did him in was that quarterback situation. And, unfortunately, it didn't work out so far. We'll see what things happen going forward. But I think that's probably one of the more attractive jobs in the NFL. I think that could easily be one of those teams that turn things around and kind of surprise people. So to answer your question, not surprised about the move. I could see how they could go that way. Raheem is a player's coach. I think he'll just probably be a career long coordinator, and maybe one of the great coordinators. But right now maybe he'll go back to the Rams if they hire Christian. But we'll see how they go.
That's what I was going to say. You think Atlanta goes back-to-back McVay, Tree, D coordinators?
Maybe if it's the right fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's the right fit, why not? And like I said, it's not like Raheem was a complete disaster to where, you just want to get as far away from him as possible. Of course, he is a player's coach. So I'm sure there are a lot of guys that, that are sad to see him go, but this is a win now league, and you can't have a lot of ugly losses, and especially with that roster, man. Like I said, the same way that we can give him credit for winning those games, the same way you could look and say, well, what were you doing the first few weeks with that?
Right.
Everybody was there.
Yeah. And I think the OC came from the Rams within Raheem Morris's regime. So I think he took the quarterback coach.
Was it Zach Robinson, right?
Yep, he sure did. That's a great guy.
Wasn't it Zach Taylor?
Zach Robinson.
Zach Robinson, yeah.
Different Zach.
Yeah, Zach Taylor,
Oklahoma State legend.
Yeah, Zach Taylor's a guy that still miraculously has a job in Cincinnati. That's the head.
I'm shocked he's one of the guys that was not fired.
He's that guy.
He probably is too. Yeah, he probably is looking at his phone like, did I miss a call?
You see the breaking news, like, oh, it's not me. All right.
Right. So put his phone on Do Not Disturb so you don't get the call.
I would imagine the Bengals owner would not tell him until after it was news,
He would definitely find out from Rappaport.
Yeah. Hey, did you see ESPN, Zach? No, why? Just turn it on.
Turn it off.
Great.
Oh, man.
Hilarious. All right, RG, you're up next. Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski. How you feel about Kevin Stefanski and his firing from Cleveland? And do you think that was the right move? And who's up next in your mind in Dog Pound?
In Cleveland?
In Dog Pound, yeah.
Yeah. Man, do I think it was the right decision to fire him? This is going to be such a kind of a bitch answer, but yes and no. Like, yes, for the reasons of
don't call yourself a bitch, man. It's a cop.
No, I mean, look. Like everybody wants.
I can't touch that one, man.
Everybody wants finality, and I'm taking the easy way out here. But I think it really is a little bit of both, because on one hand, he has given you more playoff success than your franchise has ever seen in the last 20 years, and he did have in my opinion, a franchise quarterback in Baker. Not sure how involved he was in trading him, but I'll leave that up to the GM and ownership and whatnot. And obviously what did him in was the current quarterback situation or dilemma or whatever you want to call that. Real Housewives type ish, as far as the quarterback there.
Wow.
But I think he's obviously, two-time head coach of the year in a division with now only one surefire Hall of Fame coach remaining. But at the time he was, in his entire tenure, he was with two other Hall of Fame coaches in that division. So it is a little tough to kind of shine when, those bright lights that have been around forever are constantly there. So I think it was a good decision on both parties. I think for the Browns, they need to bring in somebody who's offensive minded to develop Shador, and try to get the most out of him that way you can. And eventually, if you guys are just still terrible, you can move on, draft a quarterback high, and kind of rebuild with that new head coach, that new regime, if you will. And I think for Kevin Stefanski, he needs to go somewhere. Well, I shouldn't say he needs to go somewhere, but he kind of is at the liberty of either going to a really terrible team and kind of going through the same things he did with the Browns, or, and I really think this is the better option in my opinion, you go be OC somewhere for a really good team that is looking for a change at coordinator, kind of build that resume back up a little bit. And yeah, I just think his career is certainly not done, whether he's a coordinator next year or head coach. He's still got plenty more time in this league. And man, I would love to see him in LA. I think I'd say that. Listen. Imagine him as our OC coach. Oh man,
I would wheel Greg Roman out the building myself for Kevin Stefanski.
I'll join you, brother. Wow. I'll join you.
I will get on a plane right now and say, hey, you got to get here by the morning and get Roman out the building, and Stefanski will come in. I'm doing it.
You don't got to go, but you got to get the F up out of here. Is what I would tell him.
I don't care if we got a playoff game. We'll figure it out.
Real talk. So yeah, I think Kevin, he's got a solid NFL future career ahead of him, and I think whether it's this year or next year, he will be a head coach again.
I like it. Who do you think takes the job? Who do you think would be a viable candidate for this job?
Hey man, Cliff, if you want to give it another shot, first of all, yeah, but Cliff, if you want to give it another shot, if you want to prove you're that guy, go fucking make Shador something special, man. And if you do that, and you make the Browns a playoff contender, that's a quick path to coach of the year and who knows what else.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would have PTSD leaving out of Arizona. I had no way in the world I would have go back to Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean, the defense is way better than it was in Arizona, so you really don't got to worry about that side of the ball. You can just go hire a solid DC. Hey, hire Raheem Morris. That would be a fantastic pairing right there. Cliff as the head coach, OC, and you got Raheem Morris leading that monster defensive unit. Hey,
actually, I would actually call Jim Schwartz if he wants to stay. Yeah, I called Jim Schwartz if he wants to stay personally. I mean, he was the one that turned that defense around and had them balling. So I would say that if you want to stay on, buddy, you have the job if you want it. It's yours if you want it. So I will call him, and then my second call would be to Raheem if Jim Schwartz don't want to stay. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. But yeah, good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, Coach Shaw is definitely going to be a DC this next cycle for somebody. He's really good as a DC.
Yeah. All right, Cap. It was a little early in the cycle, but how you feel about Brian Callahan's firing, and who do you think is going to be the next Titans coach?
Wow. Next question. Brian Callahan was doomed by trying to get a team with his father there, by the way, to help him out. And you have a quarterback that's the number one quarterback in the draft. And even though he was from last year into this year, he was put in a tough spot because I don't know who the owner is in Tennessee, but you were playing against the stacked deck, being in that organization, trying to do what you needed to do. Callahan does have, obviously the offensive qualities that made him the head coach. I think he was an OC, before he was the head coach. Got a good experience there, but you have that, and even you got to bring your dad in to be the offensive line coach. Ugh. I mean, I just think that the deck was stacked, and I think they were just waiting for the right time to pull the rug out from under him. And I think that they were getting a head start on, okay, well, who can we figure out is going to be our coach next year? Looking around, they said, you know what, we have a jump on everybody else, and whatever goes on, they're looking at all the people that are out there, And so they're figuring out, well, this guy's going to be gone. And now we know this guy is gone. And they're looking around, just licking their chops. Definitely an offensive guy that needs to be in there for the Titans. You got a young quarterback, and you got to have somebody, but you also need somebody that knows you no matter who the quarterback is, Raiders, no matter who the quarterback is, you need to make sure that your offensive line is of good stature. Okay. You might not be able to turn it around in 1 year, but you better bring them some building blocks, and the blocks that block for you. That's a building block. So I'm thinking somebody of an offensive mind, maybe that's where Dayball goes, because he has a quarterback that he can mold. That might be it. I don't know anything about the Tennessee organization as far as it's not a very stable organization. It's not as it's not as volatile as you see in Cleveland or in Cincinnati, but it's always been kind of the bastard redheaded stepchild in that division. Okay, they had a great coach with great. Thank you. I'm like, who the fuck is that guy that went to? Oh, I'm sorry. That went to the Patriots. They had a great head coach with him, and they had quality teams that made the playoffs, but they couldn't do anything. So they just unloaded Vrabel and gave it to Callahan. That was a sucker move as far as them. So they need to figure out what they got going on. They had a team with Vrabel being the defensive guy, but now that has got to be an offensive-minded coach to take Cam Ward and the offense and turn it around and get somebody decent as a DC. That's where you get whoever your OC guy is and Coach Raw. That would be a great thing for both of them. And Raw knows the South. I mean, Tennessee's kind of in the north of the South, but Raw knows Atlanta and he knows Tampa. So it's not quite leaving the South there, Raheem. You can go up to Tennessee and hang out in the mountains for a while.
Okay. Good stuff. I think the O-line is pretty set. I mean, they drafted a guard and a tackle in the last couple of rounds, J.C. Latham and Peter Skoronski. They're pretty solid draft picks. And Dan Moore they paid as their left tackle. So they have a couple of interior O-linemen and some defensive players. I think they'll be off and running. They just got to get the coach right. So, I definitely agree with you there. Okay. All right, AG, we got your guy here, your buddy, Jonathan Gannon. And I gave them to you on purpose because you called this quite early on in regards to how you felt that if he didn't, get it right this year, he's likely out of there. And you were right. He's out of there. So how do you feel about the firing? I'm assuming you think it was justified because you predicted it. And who you think is going to take the job?
I need to interject. I thank you for not giving me the Cardinals because I know nothing about that guy. So thank you.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah. It's he was the Michael Scott of NFL coaches. That's what just the way he acts, just so quirky and it was like I said, the season was doomed from the start, and just the way it progressed, like the writing was on the wall. He was going to be out. He was there for 3 years. Defensive-minded guy coming from Philly. Defense never really seemed to improve on top of their offensive blunders. And then, they make the move from Murray and kind of have a little glimmer of hope, but still weren't winning games. So, it was time for a clean slate across the board. I think they're going to have a clean slate with their quarterback too, and just, kind of start over. I think it was justified. Obviously, like you said, we're often early, never wrong. So I did call his firing, and it came to fruition. But really, I think who they should target depends a lot on what they're going to do with their quarterback. Because where are they picking? Right, they're pretty. I mean, they got to be top 5, right?
They're 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah. So they could be in the running for a total reset at a QB at the top of the draft, and get an offensive guy that they wants to work with whoever they're getting. Or
they're picking 3 actually.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say they should be up there. They weren't very good.
The Jets aren't picking 3.
I thought the Jets were picking 3.
The Jets are picking 2.
Wait, where are the Giants?
The Giants
won
their game. They won their game on week 18.
God, that's right.
They do that every year.
They fell all over the fifth. So I give you the.
They're like undefeated and winning games that really
And
screw their draft position.
At least they don't need a quarterback, but
yeah, I was just about to say
wow.
they probably need to pick the least. So
Yeah, that's fair.
So you got Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, Titans, Giants. Then the Browns, Commanders, Saints, Chiefs, and Bengals. That's the top 10.
Yeah, I love that, dude.
Make an offer, Arizona. Make an offer.
I was just about to say I was going to save it for a hot take, but damn it, Cabby beat me to it. Raiders should absolutely be looking into trading that pick, 100%.
That's because they're kind of at like a fork where they could get a coach that wants to work with Kyler and try it. I mean, because they got a lot of money tied up to him, so at least try that one more year. And if not, then hopefully you're in the same type of draft position to get whatever guy your coach wants. Or they could get someone like Brian Flores, or someone who has experience head coaching before that can build a solid staff, to develop the players and develop it. Because I mean, they have good pieces. They pick pretty high all the damn time.
Right.
So they got an all-world tight end.
They
got a good receiver. I mean, need to figure out their running game and the quarterback. But I could see it being someone like a Flores or like a former. I'd maybe even a Harbaugh if they make a run at him. I don't know, but someone like that or Kubiak if they're going quarterback in the draft, and that's who I would get to build, develop your QB.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, all righty. So I'll take John Harbaugh since it's hot off the press. It's interesting about this situation because I was fishing to see, what would I didn't think it was going to come out this fast, but apparently it did. In regards to what the reasoning was behind it. I mean, he spent 18 years there, won a Super Bowl, perennial playoff team, developed Lamar Jackson to a 2-time MVP, all this good jazz. Him moving on from Greg Roman to Todd Monken seemed like the slam dunk. Lamar instantly won an MVP when Monken came in, but that relationship quickly soured. And come to find out that it looks as if Harbaugh decided to die on the hill that he didn't want to fire Monken. And that was the line in the sand. I think Lamar probably told the management that he wanted a new OC, and Harbaugh didn't want to budge on firing Monken, so he decided to, basically ride the idea that he was going to keep him, and that was going to be the basically the end all be all, and they decided to get rid of him because of that. They're now, clearly that's the most lucrative job on the market at this point. Pillar of stability from an organization perspective. They got a ready-made roster. I think they got to figure out, because since Mike McDonald left, their defense doesn't look as good as it has on paper as it is on the field. So they got to get the defense right. They got to fix their O-line too, man. They got a bunch of heavy run blocking guys, and they just don't seem to hold up well. Ronnie Stanley's getting old, things of that nature. But
Linderbaum's a free agent.
Yeah. So that's still work to do there. But it's still a great job. They got a really good personnel grouping. They probably need to, maybe move on with some older guys, but their core is solid. And of course, you can't go wrong with a 2-time MVP as a quarterback. But yeah, I mean, as far as it being a quote unquote good decision, and I said this a few times when we talked about coaching hot seats in the past few weeks, is that you only fire a guy when you have a good succession plan. When you have a good idea what your succession plan is going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see who they feel like is going to be replace Harbaugh. Because again, you got a guy that's been in the building 18 years. That's not an easy fix. You don't bring in a guy, and automatically they're in the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. So the question is going to be who is going to take that job over. And so I'm very curious about that. I would argue, to y'all guys' point, I would bring in more of an offensive-minded guy. So I think Cap made the reference that you don't have to fire you have to find a new OC every other year, that kind of thing. So so that'll probably be your best bet. But who's that guy? I would say this is funny too. Kevin Stefanski could do something really funny. He could take that job and stick it to the Browns $2,000 a year for the next however many years the Ravens want to keep him, because
Don't be surprised.
That's a ready-made roster ready to go. And I think that him coming in there, and I think that, he's a very steady and stable coach. I think he's proven that he can build a culture there, on top of what he can do as a play caller. So, get himself a running back. I think Derrick Henry's gonna probably move on. But get himself a running back of his liking and rebuild that O-line into his image. and then go to work and again, let the Browns know that they made a mistake and say you should have kept me because I wasn't the problem necessarily. It was a lot of other things going on, but we'll see. We'll see how things roll. But yeah, Kevin Stefanski will be a guy on my radar that will fit right away. And like I said, he can pretty much look down upon the Browns 2 times a year and say, hey, you get what you pay for. Get what you pay for. But yeah. So I guess it was one of those things we just had to part ways with Harbaugh, but it'll be interesting to see where he lands. That's for sure.
Like I said, it was like that Andy Reid situation in Philly, like not really bad, but just kind of staled out.
Yeah, stale. Yeah.
And just had to change something.
Okay.
And it's easier to go with one player than a whole, like a whole offensive line in our case. You just get rid of a coach. And so that's, I think that was Philly's loss, really, letting Andy go, man. And you guys came up. So it's like, wow.
They had him on a plane, like I think before the news was even.
Right. And I was it's a win-win because you got 3 Super Bowls for Andy and 2 for we had 2
Philly.
For Philly. Yeah,
one from Doug, one from Sirianni.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Now stay out of my head.
Oh, my bad.
I noticed you didn't mention Jesse Minter though, Coach, for Baltimore.
Hey.
Right. Yeah,
he said offensive minded.
I did. I mean, but yet again, I wouldn't be mad at him taking that job. That's probably the best job he can take.
Yeah.
Again, hell, we'll swap. We'll take his brother, let him be the DC, and then let him be the coach for the Ravens. Just do a swap. Why not?
Okay with that.
I'm good with it. So
especially because I shouldn't say Harbaugh's brother, especially because Jim's brother owns him. Obviously won the Super Bowl against him, owns him in the regular season. Like just to get him out of the damn league.
That's because he shut the lights off.
Well. Oh damn, we're bringing that up. Those old.
And how much did that cost? Yeah, how much?
Yeah, right. That part. Yeah.
The lights.
Hey, it's his veto. Yeah, I can make that happen. Okay, just wait a second.
Give me my own Super Bowl ring, and you got it.
Okay. All right. So, any other? I guess you can say remarks on coaching firings that anybody want to address before we move on.
I'll just emphasize this again. How the hell does Zach Taylor still have a job?
That part, yeah. There's a couple. I'm not sure why Mike.
If he got fired, the whole AFC North would have been open but Tomlin.
Right? That's Tom to be the last man standing.
Wow.
And I'd argue that if Tomlin had not won that game and put him in the playoffs, he might have been out of there.
Harbaugh would be the last one standing.
That part, exactly.
There was some rumbling about it about Tomlin's system being bored and stale too. So,
yes. Much as I love Mike T, I think he's getting a little long in the tooth, and he's not remaining current. Let me put it that way.
If you look at it, the whole league is pretty much transitioning to that younger, more vibrant. That's good optics for the league itself. So you see that whole transition happening. All them gray beards, move on.
Yeah. Very few of those left.
And Pete Carroll needs a job. Pete Carroll needs a job.
Pete Carroll is going to retire. He's no longer going to coach anywhere.
And he's bringing his 2 Twinkie sons with him.
That's the deal breaker right there. Right there. Stop.
Yeah.
He's going to go coach at North Carolina when Belichick gets fired.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah. When it comes to Mike T, I just think that we see his offense sputter. I think him having Aaron Rodgers kind of masked it a little bit more so this year, but his offense with his OCs in the last 5 to 6 years, especially, hell, since Ben Roethlisberger has been retired, it's just been a mess. It's been a mess, and I just think that his I guess you can say, I won't call it old school, but his way of doing things kind of being dated is not as effective on these younger guys that it was on older guys he has. Which is the point why he has an older roster. Like a lot of the guys he has on his defense, especially, are older guys.
Wow.
That particular philosophy and his particular way of coaching works on them. But the young guys don't respond to it. Hence why he always has these issues with these young wide receivers because that particular attitude doesn't work on them. So I think that might be too.
And it seems like maybe. Oh, go ahead. I was just saying.
Go, Dub.
I was just saying, I feel like I don't know. I feel like his style of coaching because he comes from a different era, it seems like he gives the younger guys a little bit too much of a leash. Like maybe like those squad receivers. Because I don't know, and of course, guys always need some type of coach and everything like that. But I think because he's so much of a player's coach and comes from a different era, that I think he might give a little bit too much autonomy to some of those young guys. It's just ironic that every crash out in the league at wide receiver has played for the Pittsburgh Steelers at one point in time.
Yes,
that part. What I mean? That doesn't bode well, in his eyes. But I mean, one thing we talked about watching the game on Sunday is I feel like both Harbaugh and Tomlin are both great coaches. I just feel like they had to be a little bit more hands-on, and sometimes they got to override some of these calls that are made or whatever the case. I think they gave too much autonomy to their coordinators, and they live and die with that. So the things that we love them, the fact that they're kind of hands off and kind of relaxed, and they have a good atmosphere in the building. When it's time for them to be the alphas and stand up and be like, all right, listen, I gotta veto this, or we gotta do that.
Right.
That's what we need to see from them. So hopefully they get it turned around. Like you said, I love both of them. I love Mike T. Hopefully he'll be able to rejuvenate his career in some way, shape, or form.
Good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
All
My
right.
bad, Jack. Go ahead, though. Go ahead, Jack.
No. I decided I'm going to hold on this one.
Okay.
But thank you, there, Coach.
I'll say this in your regards to Tomlin needing to step in. Well, both of them really, but needing to step in and be the alpha. He needed to step in on that damn call to end the half.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's
Arthur Smith, baby.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's another one I don't see why he has a job either, but that's a whole nother
Hey, they made the playoffs.
I guess.
Because his dad owns FedEx. So, yeah, quite literally. He got started with the Commanders, whose field at the time was FedEx Field.
That's funny.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm just
going to say, if my dad owned FedEx, I would not be coaching. Like,
right. Yeah.
You have a yacht, year round.
There you go. Okay.
I'm sorry. Get me up to speed. Who's that owns FedEx?
Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, his dad.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Now I know. Yeah. Dude, you're in the wrong profession, man. I'd be on the beach on a yacht with some hotties and margaritas and just call it a day.
Right. Checking my investments.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Let's move on down the line. Let's talk about our rolling segment. Let's get into Do You Believe? So I got a question, a group of questions for the panel here. They do not know the question beforehand. It's the first reactions to these questions that they're going to get. And so it's going to be, off the cuff reactions, no research, no, just straight, first fan opinion. So I got some good ones for you this week, guys. So we're going to get into a good question here for Alex starting off. We saw the Chiefs play their last game on Sunday, and we might have seen the last of a certain person. So do you believe that Travis Kelce has played his last game in the NFL?
It's tough because, I don't think so. I think there would have been more news about it ahead of time. Would have made a bigger deal about it, played him more, they got him to his 13,000 yards, and then we're like, all right, you're good. So I just don't think. I think he tries to come back for one more year.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see the need. I mean, especially with the idea of Mahomes maybe not starting the season, right off, depending on how his knee heals. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see the need. I mean, you got $1 million podcast waiting for you, and any other lucrative business deals. I mean, why keep, putting your body through that? But
you might need to check with the wife on that one.
I'll throw this little wrench into it. I think he does retire. And if Mahomes is ready by week 2 or 3 and the Chiefs low-key kind of start looking nice again, he comes out of retirement to join them.
Not bad.
Pull Gronk, right?
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Pull the Gronk,
I heard someone else say that. But, I think he comes back, though, just for one. I mean, I think he came back this year to try to win one more Super Bowl, and I think now he's going to sit around all offseason I want one more shot at it. Because
he doesn't want to.
He wasn't bad. Yeah, he wasn't he still had 800 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns. He still was pretty effective for looking ineffective most of the time. So
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you think he wants to play with another quarterback outside of Mahomes? Like, does he?
Hell no.
No,
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I can see RG's point.
I don't think he
Look
wants the
around and see
last
what's
pass he
going
caught in his career to be from not Mahomes.
From
I-
Chris
yeah, so-
Ladukin.
Yeah,
Good point too. Yeah. These come
Yeah,
out.
and Oladokin got cut like immediately, right? Because I heard that the Chiefs cut their quarterback. Was it Oladokin that they cut?
I don't know. I have not seen that, so I wouldn't be shocked because he did not look very good. Poor guy. And either was him or Buechele, Shea Buechele, who they signed off of. I think the Bills practice squad, so they might have.
Well, I didn't. I just saw the headline, but I tell you what, Tyree Wilson owes Chris Oladokin some money
Yes, he
because
does.
Tyree Wilson looked like a Hall of Famer against
Yes,
him.
he did. One
Looked
play.
like a
Looked like
Hall
a
of
first
Famer.
round pick.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. Okay.
Yeah, it only took him what 4 or 5 years to,
Yeah.
to freaking.
It took that and playing against a developmental right tackle who hadn't played football.
Hey, it's more than Jerry Tillery did, and he's another first-round pick.
Yeah, he's also
yeah.
yeah.
Is he still in the league?
Yeah,
Jared?
he's on the Chiefs actually.
Yeah, he was.
He was starting for the Chiefs. So.
Was. Keyword
Yeah.
is was.
Yeah, I hope to God it was.
He's going to
Not
sign
is.
with Denver in the offseason
Yeah.
to complete the
I was
AFC
gonna
West.
say he's making his way around the AFC West like
Yep.
AFC West or as I'm just saying.
Yeah, for those that were on the panel a few years ago, do you remember when a certain person tried to convince me that Jerry Tillery was actually good, that the Chargers weren't using him right? Yeah, I remember that conversation.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
I do.
Yeah, I know RG and Cap and AG know. Yeah, I find that hilarious. I don't know talent though. I'm just a.
I tell you what, the best hit that Jerry Tillery has in his career was when he got friggin' what's his nose,
penalized.
the quarterback,
Herbert.
the quarter. Yes, he was looking for that for a couple years and whacked him on the sidelines. And that's his greatest moment in his career was finally getting to Herbert because the jersey was off.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. All right, Cap, you're up next. Let's talk Raiders. So do you believe, with all the regime change going on in Vegas, do you believe that Geno Smith will be with the Raiders in 2026?
That who?
Geno Smith.
Oh, man. I didn't mean
Wait.
I can't hold it. I couldn't hold that, man.
Oh my God! This is not induced. This is real friggin' belly laughter, man.
Yeah.
Are you effing kidding me?
I bet.
Really?
I mean, we
Just ask what you believe.
money if you cut him.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna do a June 1 cut, so that they get rid of the contract over 2 years, which reduces the cap hazard there. That's why they do those beautiful things there. You look at Geno Smith. I mean, the guy, and remember, I literally saw him as he's coming off the field with the high ankle sprain, and you can't read any further than like when he's coming by you in the tunnel, and he's like, man, I am so glad this is over. And I even held the S word. Okay. Yeah. No, he wants nothing to do with Vegas unless he's there for partying in the off season. Okay. So in that respect, so technically, is he through with Vegas? No, he'll come back for some, shall we say, extracurricular activity. But being on the Raiders, no, because it's twofold. He doesn't want to be there, and nobody in upper management wants him. That was the easiest layup question in the world. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Next question. There you go. Next question.
Okay. Yeah. I found it interesting. That I saw a headline that said he got Pete Carroll fired twice.
Damn.
Damn.
Oh,
Yeah.
You don't want that on your resume.
You don't. No, but it's kind of true though. Kind of true though.
I would say Derek Carr got Allen fired twice. I think if that's true.
All right. Let's see. All right, Dub, you're up next. So the Patriots are being marked as having the easiest strength of schedule in the entire NFL this season. And a lot of people were saying, will that hurt them in the playoffs? Do you believe that the Patriots having the easiest schedule in the NFL will hurt them in their playoff matchups?
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm a firm believer of battle tested, teams. Of course, it's going to depend on their matchups and who they see, but I do think if they get a chance, even the Bills matchup, if they get a chance to see them in the playoffs, the Bills are a battle tested team. The fact that the Patriots are so young, of course, their quarterback and other guys on their team, I think that it kind of will come back to to play a factor in it. Just the atmosphere is different. Playoff football is different. The speed is faster. The teams are more prepared. I mentioned the Bills because we saw them, how hard it is to beat a team twice, let alone 3 times. And of course they lost that second time, but playing a team 3 times, it's never easy for anybody. So that's just another added element of it. The atmosphere. We talked about the atmosphere. It could be a little different. So they make no mistake about it. They are a talented team. They can do some things, and they do have some vets in that locker room. Diggs and some other guys that have been in the playoffs before and could probably attest to it. But teams got to take their lumps, and there's an old saying that say you got to get your heart broke at first. And I think that they'll probably have to go through some struggles, and we'll see. Like I said, it really all depends on their matchups. But to answer the question, I do think it matters who you play throughout the season, because there's so many different X factors that come along during the regular season that they may not have had to face, that they will face in the playoffs. It's a whole different beast, a whole different element. Guys that are doing things that you probably never see them do in their career, they just unlock a whole new, a whole new mode when it comes to the playoff time. And then even down to the officiating, we had a ref on earlier. There may be some officiating differences that just all these things play into a factor. And I think teams have to be battle tested when they go there. So maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I think it will matter for them. They're not the only team. There's a few other teams. The Broncos are another one, and a few other teams that are in that same boat as well. But as far as the Patriots, I think that it will play a factor into it.
Okay. Mic drop. Boom.
Dub is back. Dub bomb.
Coach, what the hell? Why are you putting me after Dub, man? You're setting me up for failure.
Somebody has to get dub bombed, dude. It's you this week, all right?
We all share the wealth of getting dub bomb.
Everyone's fallen on the grenade at one point, RG.
But I got a good one for you, RG. Speaking of you in regards to your question. So do you believe that the Bengals running it back with the same coaching staff is wise?
Fuck no. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
Did he say that?
I might have turned down the volume a little bit during that word and turned it back up at the end, but absolutely, positively, hell no. If the Bengals run it back with the same coaching staff after 3 straight years of missing the playoffs, they are, I was going to say they are just a shameful franchise, but that might already be true if they don't do that. So I'll pull that back and just say it would be the mistake of their franchise. And you're essentially at that point saying, Burrow, tough luck. You're probably never going to get to another Super Bowl again because we're not going to shell out cash for a good head coach, and we're just going to ride the coattails off one Super Bowl appearance where the defense tightened up in a playoff run and the kicker was lights out.
Immaculate, yes.
Immaculate. So I truly, if they truly decide, I honestly, the fact that he's still hired is already giving me pause. Like, that guy should have been fired freaking as soon as the game ended, week 18. Yeah.
He should have got on the bus or the plane.
Hell no. They should have just kicked his ass off as soon as he attempted to try to get on.
Del Rio was fired at midfield last game against the Chargers. That should have been the Bengals, but see, Mike Brown is too cheap to even have his assistant go out there and say, hey, by the way, you're fired. That's all it is.
100%. Yeah. So, yeah, it is just inexcusable what the Bengals are doing, and I truly do feel bad for Joe Burrow having to be a part of that pitiful franchise that just wants nothing to do with winning. Zach Taylor, you got to go, my dude.
Yeah, I just have a pet peeve about wasting talent. Like when you have guys that are super uber talented and you don't do any and everything that you in your power to build around them and make them the most successful as you possibly can, that's a red flag for me. And that's just grind my gears. So I just have issues with that in its entirety. So yeah, him, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, any of those guys, they just are wasting away, in Margaritaville. That's pretty much it.
Don't be surprised if some trades get, requests for trades come during the offseason.
I said that if things don't look the way Joe Burrow wants it to look, come towards the start of the new season, he might request a trade. He just might.
The Bengals that's one of the reasons why, because they're spending all that money on all these different things, and they don't have the money to bring in a good coach. And that's what's kicking them in the ass, is that they have too much money outlaid out, and they're really a cheap franchise. They're like the Bengals and the Browns, like back and forth. There's who can be cheaper in that division.
Because if you know the I guess you can say the logistics of how contracts work from coaches to players, coaches contract doesn't play into the salary cap. So they can
I understand that, but what it doesn't play into the salary cap. But what about the economics for the team? Because even though it's not a salary cap issue, the owner doesn't want to pay a bunch of money.
That's the point.
Still coming out.
It's being cheap, exactly. Yeah, so that's more to your cheap point than anything. He can dole out $20 million if he wanted to. He just don't want to. He's old, surly, and don't want to spend the money.
Yeah. Look, I was going to say, too, there's something to be said about attempting to try to get the head coach right. Like, you could clown the Raiders all you want for them dishing out money to all these coaches. They are at least attempting to try to find the right guy. It's probably even more pitiful to just stay put knowing your head coach is leading you nowhere, and you're just like, well, he's cheap.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. I pay them enough. They figure it out. Hilarious.
I like the left-handed compliment that RG was trying to do. Well, you talk about those Raiders being as stepped up as they are, but at least they're trying.
I feel bad for the teams that root for franchises where they're just in constant hell with no end in sight, and it's just at least I promise I'm not trying to clown on the Raiders, but the attempts are there, and that's really all you can ask for.
Doing something, not just sitting on their hands.
They're swinging. The people getting up to the plate, they just keep the bat on their shoulder. They're not.
They're just watching 3 straight down the pipe, and that's it. Go back and sit down.
There you go.
I think I'm about ready to go and turn around and ask me a question, but I'm gonna sit down. I'm sitting down.
Yeah, all right, Coach. Later, you're up next. So, do you believe, from the Jets' perspective, that they were smart in running it back with Aaron Glenn?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. My bad. I thought you said Alex. I would say yes, because Glenn did great when he was with Detroit, and he had to come and take over a
dumpster fire.
Yeah, I wanted to say something else, but anyway, a dumpster fire, and they got a peculiar owner themselves. So when he gave him the green light that his job was secure, that means he sees some progress. And they're basically tearing it down to the studs too, with the veterans and those big contracts that they had. They're getting those guys out of town. So don't be surprised if the Jets resurgent in a season or two.
Okay.
They're definitely looking for improvement. Next year, we'll get 1 pick. We got it, boys.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane. You get no
first team since like 1936 or something crazy.
And we were seeing teams were playing 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks at one point. You still can't get a pick? That's insanity.
Wow, I didn't know that they went the entire. I thought they got one at the end.
Wow. The entire season without an interception.
That's zero.
Unbelievable.
That's a fireable offense in and of itself. I'm sorry.
That's a defensive coach.
That's a joke.
But the thing is, Aaron Glenn isn't back there. He's not on the field. Aaron Glenn was a hell of a defender.
He might have gotten a pick if he was on the field.
Even at his age, yeah.
Longest yardage. I'll get this myself.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
All right, Coach, you ready for yours?
I am. Let's go.
All right. So we got Allen versus Allen. If you get the joke, Josh Allen versus Josh Allen.
Yes.
Upcoming in this first round of the wild card playoffs. Do you believe that the Bills will be upset because they are technically a point favorite? Do you believe the Bills will be upset by T-Law and the Jags and effectively probably get McDermott fired?
Yes.
Oh,
I do.
Damn.
I do.
let's
I
hear
do.
your reasonings for it.
Yes, I think there's a very good possibility in this game that they could lose to the Jaguars because of one guy only. The one common denominator that's different in this particular Jaguars regime is Leon Cohen. And I believe that their run defense is completely and utterly dangerous to the Bills defense. The Jags run offense is completely utterly dangerous to their defense. And I do believe that if they're allowed to run the ball with Sutton and ETN early and often, and being in Jacksonville, I would argue that they definitely have the opportunity to beat the Bills. And the claim to fame for the Bills is running the football. And who's the best at stopping the run, or one of the best, top 5? The Jaguars.
Jags.
So if I can take away James Cook from you and make Josh Allen have to play hero ball in the playoffs, when he gets too, I guess you can say hero-centric, he costs his team a lot of times in the playoffs, if you do remember in the last few years. So I do believe there is it's a really good chance with that defense and that run game for the Jaguars. I do believe that they could upset the Bills, and that would likely get McDermott fired because listen, you can't win without Lamar, Burrow, or Mahomes being in the playoffs. I think we've seen enough, sir.
Yeah,
I think we've seen enough.
completely agree.
Yeah,
No excuses at this point.
The
That's
biggest
been what, like three or four seasons, right? Of that.
easily.
What,
5 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 maybe. Yeah.
Since like COVID, we were having this conversation. Oh,
Correct.
is this
Don't win
the
their
year?
division. Yeah.
And then he give up division to the Patriots, so that's another conversation.
Yeah,
So,
you let the Pats rebuild before you made it. You made it to a Super Bowl.
Right?
Let me compound the question with this one, though. Do you think the front office of the Bills is like hoping they lose so they can get Harbaugh?
And now, they could be
Hey.
Like, wait, who's available?
They weren't thinking it yesterday, but they're probably thinking it now. If we lose come the weekend, then we could be calling John Harbaugh for an interview.
What a move that would be.
And hell, I mean, you interview him now because he's a free agent, so you could be back alley interviewing him now.
Well, I don't know if you can interview him now with McDermott still there. That would be.
He'll find a way.
The
That's for
ultimate
damn
middle
sure.
finger to you.
Stranger things have happened.
We're taking separate cars, stagger when we go in.
Right.
Come on over to the Anchor Bar. We're going to treat you to the best barbecue hot wings, the first ones there. Hey, we might, we'll throw some beers on the table. We'll talk some stuff, but it's not an interview. Not an interview. We're treating you to some wings.
Technically not, yes. But yes, to answer your question, I think their Bills are proud to be on upset alert because I think that their claim to fame and their biggest thing with no one or more receivers running the football. And James Cook, I think he led the league in rushing this year, if I'm not mistaken. So I would argue that with that run defense with the Jags, holding that down, making you play left-handed because you don't have a run game, no number one receiver, and let's not act like their secondary slouches either. With that trade they made, Sneaky's trade that they made for corner when Travis Hunter went down. Yeah, so we got Newsome over there. So you take away your best weapons on offense from a passing perspective, it could be upset time. It could be upset time. I mean, RG and I both had to watch 4 quarters of that offense, run up and down the field on us. So we know they're very capable against a good defense. So yes,
it might have been 3.5 for me, Coach. I might have shut that off. I might have checked out by the 4.
I don't know.
Take it.
I might have had too many drinks at that point in the fourth quarter. I might not remember the 4th quarter, but I was present.
I think I remember Herbert getting taken out. I'm like, and that's going to do it for me.
That's enough. Yeah. It's back to red zone. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. Good stuff. So that is our segment called Do You Believe? All right, let's move on. Let's talk playoffs. So we will get into our playoff predictions here. Let's talk about in our cover forecast what we think about the playoff matchups and who we going to Well, I already didn't spoil my whole Jags take. I think the Jags could beat the Bills. I spoiled it already.
Shut up! You already screwed up my hot take, man.
I know. Mine too. That was gonna be mine too. So
Damn it.
My bad.
The low hanging fruit, I guess.
Yeah. So we have our playoff predictions.
I got some low hanging fruit. There you go.
Oh, Jesus. That's like ground scraping fruit.
I'm definitely coming out and kicking your ass in Arizona for that.
Hey, Cap, you act for it, man. I'm just saying.
That's just hitting below. Definitely hitting below the belt. No pun intended.
Sure. All right, so we're gonna go around the room and give our playoff predictions here real quick, so we can get the guys' thoughts on who's gonna win in the walkout round and advance to the next round of the playoffs. So here's the bracket. So we got the Texans at Pittsburgh, we got the Bills at the Jags, the Chargers at the Patriots, Rams at the Panthers, the 49ers at the Eagles, and the Packers at the Bears. And brief weather report before we get into this. So we got a chance of showers at 70 degrees in Carolina. We got a chance of snow with 34 degrees in Chicago. Partly cloudy with 67 degrees in Jacksonville. We got a slight rain chance of 46 degrees in Philly. We have a slight rain chance and 36 degrees in New England. And Pittsburgh is a TBD. They don't know what the weather's going to be like just yet, but I got a feeling it's going to be cold. So just preface that by saying that's what the weather's going to be before you make your pick. So let's go down the line. Dub, let's start with the Texans and Pittsburgh. Just, no line, just tell me who you want to pick and why real quick, and we'll move on.
Texans, self-explanatory. Yeah. That defense. Yeah.
Ditto.
It's there.
Right, there we go. All right.
I'll join in.
Yeah.
Violet.
Yeah. Cat. Yeah, we all.
Aaron Rodgers is going to think real hard about retiring after this one.
That's for sure. 7 seconds later, you're like, you know what? You know that meme a few years ago? We had that.
I'm running out of ayahuasca or whatever.
You're right. Yeah, that's him.
What are the only chances I can put on my hat? Because most of my hat peoples are off. How about them Texans?
Coach, Cap, if you want to bet, this is the game to bet on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I lost some effing. No, I'm going to say it. I lost some fucking money on you because take the 12 on the Chargers.
It got to 13.5 too.
Pick 6 was not in the cards. I'll just say that. Pick 6 really sold that line.
I've been waiting on that one. I said, I'll take RG's word. Oh yeah,
that's fair. That's a fair.
I was gonna do it too, but I didn't. I was like, you know what?
I did take him at 13.5 as well, Cap, and they lost me some money too. So
no, I think I either had him at 10 or 12. I think it was 10 with my wrap. Like fuck.
Well,
I waited a while. I waited a while. I waited a while.
Didn't help anything. That's another.
Gifting them 7 points on a pick 6 that killed it right there. And that pick 6 was the difference because they would have been at third. Well, it would have been they were 19, so they would have been at 12. Yeah. We had 9 points. That would have covered. So
that'd been it.
That sucked.
Blame Caldwell to let it roll off his hands.
Yeah. Man. Get it out of your system now. I don't want to see that shit in the playoffs.
Not at all. Okay. All right, so we got Bills and Jaguars. We already know what I said, so I'm going to go to Dub. Who you got this matchup, Bills and Jags?
This is probably one of the ones I'm struggling with the most. I want to say the Bills, they're going to have to play, it's going to be down to their defense, and I just don't know if I trust their defense enough. So, I'm not a fan of the Jaguars' strength of schedule and all those things, especially these last few games. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the favorite. I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Okay. Good stuff.
They're actually the underdog, technically.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought.
Oh, yeah, really? I didn't know.
They're technically underdogs at home.
I think the Bills are favored, I think.
Oh, okay.
One, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
To echo Mike Dub, this is probably the toughest game to pick from here out of this slate. I'm gonna go with the Jags because just like you mentioned, Coach, worst run defense in the league going up against one of the best rushing attacks in the league. I mean, the only way I can see the Jags losing this is if Liam Cohen decides to just abandon everything that worked all season and be like, T-Law is going to lead us to victory.
Right.
And then T-Law throws,
T-Law plays bad.
Yeah, he starts putting the T back in INT. Yeah, it's going to be – so that's the only way, but I see no reason why he would. This should be just, like you said, ETN Tootin game all the way.
I like it. Okay. All right, AG, who you got? Jags or Bills?
I agree. I think this is the toughest game. Maybe this are the Bears-Packers one. And I think it could go either way. And there's a lot of components of, like, which Trevor Lawrence shows up, which Josh Allen shows up. But I'm going to go with the Jags and join the majority here.
Okay.
Which Josh Allen?
Well, it's Josh Hines Allen, actually.
Right, Hines Allen now.
But he has pick six Josh Allen before, so.
Yes. Okay, all right, Violet, who you got, Bills or Jags?
I'm taking the Jags in this one, even though they're so closely predicted. I think that the Jags will get their ground game going and, keep Buffalo's offense on the sideline.
Yep.
Smelling whatever food's being cooked on in the parking lot.
Right.
And when they do get on the field, I think that defense will be determined to shut down Cook.
Yes, I agree with that. Okay. All right, Cap, round it out. Who you got, Jags or Bills?
I think the Jags are going to beat the Bills just like they whooped up on a certain team from L.A. a couple years ago in the first round. Oh, I'm sorry. That was easy, but I had to say it. But no, I think
whooped us, but
He whooped us. He whooped us early this year, but not the playoffs.
I don't know. I don't think you can throw 4 picks in a playoff game and say you whooped the other team.
That's
I think we definitely got whooped in the coaching department. I will 1,000% concede that.
I apologize. I didn't remember the score. I just remembered the feeling of what was going on.
3-point game.
Okay. Whatever. Well, apologies on not knowing the score, but it was still an ass whooping psychologically in that respect.
I'll give you that.
All I was hearing was just like my wife. Anyway, I'm going to take the Jags, and I think that's going to be the final nail in the coffin for the coach up in Buffalo. You have a time all of your other guys are out. Burrow's out, Mahomes is out. Jackson's out, those teams, and you can't beat a team that hasn't sniffed the playoffs in a while, except when they played the Chargers. I think that was years ago, right? It was like 3-4 years ago.
22, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. At least 3 years. And they're going to Jacksonville, and they're going to be hearing a lot of Duval all day.
Okay.
Another clean sweep.
And I know it's crazy, right? Well, we know 2 of these guys on this panel going to go with this next match. We already know who they're thinking. So, I'll give my quick reasoning. I think the inexperience of the Patriots and their weak schedule could be their demise. The Chargers are a very hungry, gritty team. I think that Harbaugh has a really good opportunity to outcoach Vrabel in this matchup. Especially if they're allowed to run the ball on them in New England, which be a cold, ish game. I think there's prime for that. So I do believe that the Chargers have a really good opportunity to come out of this game with a victory. Like I said, the inexperience of the pressure of the playoffs could really get to a young quarterback and a young regime in its entirety. I mean, when your most experienced person is your coach in the playoffs, that's not going to bode well for people on the field. So I think I'm going to clearly think the Chargers should and can win this game for sure. Who you got, Dub?
I definitely can see the Chargers doing it, but I'm going to go ahead and put my money on the Patriots for this round.
Okay, fair enough. All right, you want to add anything? I know you're doing RJ. You want to add anything of why they will win?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say that this was probably the best matchup for the Chargers in the first round.
Yes,
the Patriots have probably the weakest pass rush of all of these teams. I'd probably argue in the playoffs, maybe. I'd take that back. San Francisco's is not great at all. But definitely in the AFC, this is probably the weakest pass rush in the AFC. And like you mentioned, all the inexperience and stuff like that. I think this is finally, hopefully, praying for Herbert to finally break through and win a playoff game. But yeah, I think I like their chances. I'll say that.
Okay. All right, AG, who you got? Chargers or Patriots?
Yeah, it's a tough one too. I'm going to go Patriots just with it being at home, and the Chargers, I think, kind of outrunning how banged up they are. I could see that kind of catching up to him. Because, Vrabel is on the other side, and he's an experienced coach too, and was a game away from a Super Bowl. So, I think that component's kind of flattened out, and it's going to come down to the quarterback play. And, Drake May's first run at the playoffs, and, Herbert trying to get past some of his history in the playoffs, if you will.
I saw a stat today that said he has the 31st and 32nd ranked running pass blocking.
You saw that?
In the entire league this year.
Who has?
Herbert.
The Chargers.
Yeah.
The run blocking is 32nd. I think the pass blocking is 31st. So it might be a flop, but one way or the other is bad on both sides.
Actually, that's kind of high. I would have figured that there would have been like 60 and 61.
Well, if we had enough teams, I'm sure they probably would be.
They probably would be.
That was the slam. That you guys have been hurting on that all year.
Yeah.
And we're still hurting on that.
Yeah, sure. All right, Violet, who you got? Chargers or Patriots?
I'm going to take Patriots in this one, guys. Home field, whatever the weather is, but that home field crowd, I think Drake May, in spite of what everybody thinks he's going to play tight, I think he's going to be loosey-goosey and go on the attack with the weapons that he does have. So I think the Patriots win this one at home.
Okay. All right, Cap, who you got? Patriots or Chargers?
Let me preface this to say that it's not hatred and bile. So you know where I'm going on this, right? I just think that I had to say it because I just think because it's just one of those uplifting things that the way that the Patriots team is composed, and with Vrabel there, he was the injection, the shot in the ass. No more sex jokes on that one. But he was the shot in the ass that the Patriots team needed this year. And there's so many players. God knows there's at least 3 Raider players that are just saying, wow, we got a playoff game. We're playing for the Patriots. It's that whole locker room. And I know somebody very well in the Patriots organization, and it's a whole thing this year. They're young, they're inexperienced in that respect, but I think they just got the juju and the karma and the wet weather in January to do it. And again, it's going to be a close game, that's for sure. I think that they can eat. They're not going to have like that guy with the snowblower that needs to come out and clean up the field at the end for their kicker. But it's going to be a tight game, and I just think that the Patriots eke it out.
Okay.
No hatred and bile. No hatred and bile.
That was sound analysis. I'll give it to you.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. So Rams traveling to Carolina play the Panthers. Who you got in this matchup, Dub? Rams or Panthers?
Taking the Rams. Closer than I think a lot of people will probably think, but I'm taking the Rams.
Okay. All right, RJ. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm right there with them. I think this is going to be a much closer game than people are giving it credit for. Panthers obviously beat the Rams in the regular season, already. And the Panthers, they have I know people might not think this, they have a really solid chance to upset here. Panthers are a different team when they're at home, and most of the struggles for the Rams come on the road. So this might be a sneaky one. I think the Rams ultimately eke it out, but don't be surprised if the Panthers, upset. I would say I'm pretty sure they're not the favorites in this game. That'd be crazy, but yeah, I think they could definitely upset.
Okay. All right, AJ, who you got? Rams and Panthers?
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, RG, Rams are 10.5 point favorites.
God damn!
That's the only. The rest of them are pretty close, except for that. But yeah, I'm going Rams.
What was that? The Rams
10.5 on DraftKings.
Yeah, 10.5.
Double digits.
I want to hear about RG. If they're 10.5, I'd take the points in the other team.
I
right?
have 100% taken the points in the other team. I think the Panthers defense is,
yeah, okay.
Is
I'm gonna mark that
enough.
one down.
Okay.
Wow, double digit scores is crazy.
All right, Violet, who you got?
Yeah.
Panthers or Rams?
I'm taking the Rams based on their defense and coaching. It's saying 10 points or so, but I don't think that even matters. I just think Stafford is at his ultimate prime. He's proven trying to make a good point, and I think they just outplayed the Panthers even at home.
Okay, good stuff.
8-9 Panthers.
Right, that part. Yeah. All right, Cal, we got Rams or Panthers?
I'm going to predicate this again. I said I thought that the Panthers could like win a game, but the way that the seedings were, okay, I think that they got the wrong team. You get one of those other teams in there, I would call an upset, but they drew the Rams, and that just screws up their juju. Okay, and thank God that the fake Pirates aren't in there. Thank you, Atlanta. Right. But yeah, I would say if Panthers would have drawn somebody else, I could have seen an upset, but they got the wrong team because the Rams they're gunning for them. You beat us at home. Well, watch what ass whooping we put on you. I don't know if it's going to be that 10.5 points. So I'll take the Panthers and the points, but definitely the Rams win the game.
I think the Rams win big. I do. I think that I'm not really drinking the Kool-Aid with this Panthers team right now. I think that if you look at their schedule, they have not won 2 games in a row in the entirety of the whole NFL season. It's been win-loss.
They lost last week.
2 losses. 2 losses. They lost 2 weeks in a row. It's instead of winning, so I think that they're primed for thrashing. for my money, I think getting Devontae Adams back and a few other guys healthy on the Rams side. Quentin Lake got activated today off the IR, so he should play. So I think they're finally healthy too. They get a fully healthy Rams pissed off team. Yeah, I think the Rams win big. I'm not gonna go as far as 10.5 or 11 points, but yeah, I think that they definitely win big, at least by 2 scores, maybe 10 points,
No, all right, see that? Ooh, let's see that 10. I got to see what
it's nice. Yeah. All right, so
I got to
49ers and Eagles. Who you got, Dub? 49ers and Eagles.
I'm gonna take the Eagles. I think it's they're funny. They're a funny team, man. Yeah. They that's the best way I can put it. It does. They're a funny team. They're like the Sopranos. If the Sopranos were a football team, all the infighting and all that stuff like that. But
that's a good one.
Yeah,
good one. The Sopranos.
Yeah, that's your clip right there, Coach. You know it is too.
They used to be varsity athletes, man.
Yeah. They never had the makings to be a varsity. But yeah, I'm going with Philly.
All right, cool. All right, RG, who you got, Philly or 49ers?
And I'm tailing Coach again, man. I think the Eagles pull this one out. I think the Niners defense is just so banged up, and just their inability to get to the quarterback. And I mean, if Jalen Hurts can sit in that pocket all day, he is going to pick that team to pieces. And they already have a great O-line in Philly. Yeah, I think this is shaping up. This one actually might get ugly with how bad the Niners defense is. I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles win this one by double digits.
Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, AG, who you got?
I'm going Niners.
Ooh.
I've just feel like Niners been playing pretty good football. McCaffrey's been going off. Despite everyone knowing he's their whole offense, he has been uber effective. And I think just with the issues that we've seen with Philly's offense, that's kind of just been compounding. I don't think really ever been fixed. I think that kind of rears its ugly head in this game.
There you go. AG bomb. AG bomb. I like it. All right, man, who you got? 49ers or Eagles?
I got Eagles, man. Listen, when the rubber meets the road, they've got all the talent. Like I say, they can hit that switch and play when they want to. And people are going to be saying, oh, they're going to go to sleep with the Niners coming in. I think not. I think they make a statement and run the Niners out of there.
Okay. Could be, hell, they could have been playing possum all the time, just waiting for the postseason. Yeah. Could be.
I think the Eagles' run game is really going to be dominant.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, Cal, who you got, Eagles or 49ers?
No, it's so easy for this one. I got Tony and the boys. They're going to make people forget about the shit that falls off the truck. Hey, forget about it. It fell off the truck. That's all I'm going to say. Tony and the boys, forget about it. It's easy.
All right, so I'm assuming that's the Eagles, right?
I think that's
I would
yes.
imagine so.
I would imagine that's the Eagles.
I don't think that's how they talk in San Francisco.
I was thinking the same thing.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Stop it! Stop it! I'm not
Yeah,
going to go there.
There it is.
Stop
Yeah.
it! Stop it!
Stop.
I can do access to hello. It's
All right,
definitely the Eagles.
Okay, all right.
Wide array.
Yes. Yes. I was thinking more rice roni, but that's a whole other conversation.
A wide array. Hey, stop it! That's kind of a touchy subject as well. A wide array. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So the Eagles to me should get it done. They might be playing possum on people. They just gonna start hit the because with violence, the rubber meet the road when the fit hits the shan. They're gonna get things done. And I think I'm not sure that the San Francisco 49ers have enough firepower to keep up, especially going against that Philly defense. One thing has been consistent all year. That defense has been a problem for people. So yeah, I think that the Eagles should win. It should win. But if it was upset, I wouldn't be surprised either. We'll see, because they're 24th ranked offense for the Eagles gives me pause. That is one thing that gives me pause in that space. But if they can manage about 16 to 17 points, I think they'll be all right. They'll be all right. Okay. All right, last game of the playoff wild card matchups, the Packers at the Bears. Should be some weather and wind in this game. So who you got in this matchup, Dub? Packers or Bears?
I got the Bears. I think the Packers are, obviously fighting some injuries and some other things. And I'm trusting the Bears. I know they won it, and I know the Packers have owned them for the past few years, but I think that they finally got their confidence up, and I like the matchup. So I'm gonna go with the Bears.
I like it. Okay. All right, RG, you got?
Yeah, I'm right there with Mike again, man. I think it's going to be the Bears. I think that running game is just too much for the Packers to handle, especially being down Micah. Their season really came to an end when Micah got hurt. Let's be real. I think we all for them, kind of put them off to the side as soon as that injury happened. Barring Love having a absolute master class, I'm talking like 4 touchdowns. He's going to have to be able to go toe to toe with this offense, and I just don't see it happening, especially in Chicago.
Yep, I like it. Okay. I think it'll be a heavy running game with this wind. We're going to see a lot of deep passes in this game, a lot of short tight end routes, a lot of running ball, and that favors the Bears, in my opinion. Yeah, I like it. All right, AJ, who you got? Packers or Bears?
You took the words right out of my mouth on that one, Coach. So thanks. But I'm going with the Bears as well for the reasons you just said. I think it's going to be a big running game too. So I think that you have to favor the Bears in that type of matchup at home as well.
Okay, I like it. Okay, all right, Violator, who you got?
Ditto 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I got the Bears running game and that defense. Whoever's playing quarterback, because I think Love is out, right?
Oh, he's playing.
He's playing.
He's playing.
He's
going to catch a whole dose of Bears defense. So I'm taking the Bears at home with that win. Yeah, it would be a ground and pound type of game.
I like it. Okay. All right, Cat, round it out. Who you got, Bears or Packers?
Oh, are you kidding? The Bears. I'm having a mini heart attack here from all of the Portillos and the pizza and the Chicago deep fried
Portillo's fire.
Yep, it's the Bears. You can't go against the Bears in Chicago this time of year. The Bears. It's easy.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So those are our playoff predictions. So we'll see how things shake out. We'll review that and go over the divisional round next week. So it should be good. Should be a good time. All right, so let's wrap up the show here. Let's get into our hot takes of the week, our fourth and final segment of the pod. Any hot takes out there? Anything brewing in your pot, your kettle? Anything brewing in your crock pot, your stove skillet? Got a hot take? They want to drop here before we get out of here.
I got some pretty piping that I might have cooked up during this show. So
boy, pretty piping, man. That's a straight line as well.
that was a little iffy, Archie.
It was on the edge. It was on the edge. I'm not gonna lie.
Made me wince.
So my hot take is, and this will never happen, but I really want to see it happen. The Steelers will trade TJ Watt and a first-round pick to the Raiders for the 1 pick to draft Fernando Mendoza.
Wow.
We
Him
have
TJ Watt in what?
Wow.
TJ Watt and a first round pick.
or the first
Maybe,
overall pick.
maybe a first and a second.
Huh?
Yeah, you better open up the doors a little bit more. Just I mean, TJ's fine, but no. TJ a 1 and a 2 and a 1. It'd be like the Lawrence Welk trade. I'll take a 1 and a 2 and a 3. You know, that's
I just
what
don't know if Mendoza demands, if it's like a Burrow or something like that, then yeah, you can ask for the world. But I just think it being a weaker QB class.
Talk about Heisman Trophy winner, RG. Come on.
Right.
I know. I get it.
Put some respect on his name.
We'll see what Indiana
Fame
does.
Award
but-
Burrow won. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's funny. It's funny. RG says that because if I were to have a hot take, my hot take would be this is not the year to go after your quarterback. I mean, there's some teams that have no choice; they have to go with the best quarterback available. But I wouldn't throw the house for Mendoza or
Dante
or the
Moore.
kid, or Dante Moore either. of them,
There's no guarantee Dante Moore's even coming out.
Carson
Yeah.
Beck.
Yeah, Carson. Definitely not Carson Beck.
Carson Beck.
if you're more, would you come out when you need more seasoning, knowing you're going to the Jets? The Jets suck. No.
Have you seen that?
I'll tell you, hey, I can make some more NIL money here, and not this year.
Have you seen that fake? They figured out it was fake, but someone posted they said Dante Moore put this on his story. And it's like that viral, like in your 20s, someone's going to tell you to go play for the Jets. Like, don't listen to him. I'm like,
That's a good one.
Damn.
That's a good one. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Any more hot takes on the stove?
Yeah, actually, it is for that first pick. It said, don't be surprised if the Raiders aren't totally enamored with Mendoza. I mean, people keep saying he's the guy. I like the guy, but the Raiders need so much more than a quarterback at this point. They need to figure out a line in front of him. And if you got somebody willing to jack some picks and trade it up to the number 1, I know personally I would. And by the way, I'd go after somebody like Mateer. And I don't know who this Sawyer Robertson is, but if he's, I mean, they can get a quarterback. They can get a quarterback this draft, but it doesn't have to be at the number 1 pick. So I think the Raiders might, if they're smart, they would figure they'd get a bankroll of what they can get, because I don't think Mendoza is that guy over everything. You can get a good quarterback. Hell, they got Derek Carr in the second round, and he was the most serviceable quarterback for 10 years. Okay.
Yep.
So that begs the question, actually, and Jake kind of leaned towards what I was going to say. So what quarterbacks do you covet in the next 2 to 3 years that's not Mendoza?
Well, like I said, the kid. Well, of course, people are going to say Manning, but the Trinidad Chambliss.
I don't cover that at this moment because the way he played this year.
Well, but see, I think this was an off year for Manning. I mean, of course, the one time that I wanted Texas to choke it when I was betting on them, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, 2 long runs at the end. Betting is bad for me. I got to stop doing that. But Chambliss as well as Manning, and there's other names out there. But if you want a quarterback this year, I wouldn't bankroll on Mendoza, because Mendoza looked as well as he did behind a team. You got to have a team to put in front of him. And unless you got an offensive line that's already there, I think he's going to get some growing pains. That's why if again, this is just kind of wishful thinking, I'd wait a year and then get some key pieces this year. You have the Raiders have some picks, get a number 1 wide receiver, get a tackle, get a center. If you can't get Linderbaum, take Slaughter, and RG and I we're talking about this a couple of shows ago. Get that going for you, get it cooking and percolating, because we got other factors going, and then you get them next year. If you don't get Mateer or somebody else that's like a great guy to move forward this year, because remember, the Raiders are going to have AOC 12 as their quarterback. Everybody else is gone.
Wow. Okay.
He's going to be the teacher. You're right. He's going to be the teacher for whoever comes in there.
That's crazy
Yep.
to say. Okay.
The one thing I think. Oh, my bad, Violet.
I'm going to add to what Cap said because I can see the scenario going totally different than what everybody's predicting. Like you say, the Raiders may not be enamored by Mendoza. And if they drop back, get more capital, the whole nation's going to lose their freaking mind.
True.
Because they're locked in on Mendoza like he is the next coming of, but that's just my take on it.
Yeah, Bishop the who's in the chat. Bishop, who is a bishop, by the way, he is a bishop. He will go absolutely bonkers. You might have to take his collar.
Take the collar.
Collar. He's gonna have to take the collar off and go because he is a sailor, retired, and go Tourette's syndrome for a while before he puts the collar back on for Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna say it'd be cool to get Mendoza in Vegas because it's basically like putting Tim Tebow in Sin City. That'd be kind of ironic.
Pretty much. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Good. All right. Then. All right. Any other final takes before we get up out of here?
One more, and this is really early. But based upon the contract, you were talking about Tomlin. Tomlin hits this year. It's the end of his contract, and then he goes to TV. He's going to say enough of this shit in Pittsburgh of being just kind of, 8-9, 9-8. I'm going to go to TV. People want me in TV, and he's had enough of Pittsburgh, and this is the end of his contract. And I have a feeling that they are not going to give him an extension, which is another way of saying, this to him.
See you,
Coach. Did you said that last week, didn't you, Coach?
I did say that last week.
No. It's just I think that's right though. Like he's gonna do something other than coaching.
Yeah.
Coach, I apologize, and I was probably trying to figure out what the hell I was going to say for a hot take. So.
Okay. Yeah. Fun fact before we move on from quarterbacks, Trinidad Chambliss is only 6 foot tall.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the minimum right there.
Well, is it?
I'd say that's on the roster. So really, he's what 5'10".
Yeah, he's probably 5'9" and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
6 foot cleats on.
We're talking Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, and look how that turned out.
He's got the
Kyler Murray's
inch cleats.
Kyler Murray's 5'11" on the roster, so he's like 5'8".
No, he's 5'8", 5'9". Yeah.
He's 5'7", 5'6".
It just don't compute in this league as big as the other guys.
He's trying to go back, isn't he, Chambliss?
Yeah,
he's going back. I read that today. He's going back.
Yeah, he's going back. He does. LSU wanted him. He wanted to go, but he's like, "Nah, I'm going to rebel." And I think that's the smart move.
Yeah, not mad at it. Not mad at it all. All right, good stuff. All right, so then we would wrap up this podcast here for the first one of 2026. So if you're looking for the hit squad in any facet for Commanders, Chiefs, or Chargers news, you can hit up Coach Mike Dub for Commanders news, the real AG Alex Givens for Chiefs news, and young RG Robert Garcia for Chargers news. If you're looking for the NFL Nation Live crew, if you're looking for Ref Google, Violator, or Captain Jack Rackham, or any Raiders or referee questions, hit them up on Twitter. They're all on Twitter. And Captain Jack Rackham is also on Instagram and YouTube. So hit them up in those spaces. If you have
no OnlyFans. It's just those.
Not promote OnlyFans. No OF on the pod. No OF on the pod. Okay.
No.
All right. So if you're looking for Lockdown Defense Sports Network, we're on all platforms, mostly for social media in those references. Please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Get the YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out here. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter in 2026. Yes, I am. So we'll get that done. So if you're looking for our subsidiary channel for the Electric Shock Podcast for LA Chargers news, you can hit us up there. Electric Shock Pod across all platforms. No K, just SHOC, no K. Hit us up in their space. Hit us subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. Letting YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out there. And that's it. So we're going to wrap this up here for 2026, first episode. And any final words, any final takes before we get about here, gentlemen?
Go Chargers, bolt up, baby.
Indeed. I second that motion. All right.
I just hope we see some good football, which I think we will with this slate.
I think we will. I think starting Thursday with the college football playoffs and leading all the way into Monday, I think it's going to be a real good weekend for football. That's my personal opinion. So we should be good.
I got the popcorn ready for sure.
Indeed. Popcorn.
Grubhub. Yes, sir.
That's it. That's right. That's right. Uber Eats if you don't got Grubhub. You know the deal. You know the vibes. Okay. All right, good stuff. So we'll be back next week as always on Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time throughout the NFL season. We're breaking down the wild card matchups and what's going on. Any more coaching firings, anything that's hot bubbling in the NFL headline news. We'll get that rolling. I think we get Ref Guru back again next week, so we'll get him takes on the refereeing for the playoff games. So we'll get that done. But that's gonna do it for us. So for myself, Coach Defense, that is Coach Mike Dub, that is Young RG, Robert Garcia, Captain Jack Rackham, the violator man himself, and the real AG Alex Givens. Until next week, we'll see when we see you. You got to step up to lock it.